Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our Witnosh YouTube channel. And we will have another session about Chia. We had some emails about how we managed to get our response time so low, and people complaining that they have hundreds of blocks and aren't winning, and asking us what the reasons might be. I mean, I'm not the owner of a glass bowl, but I will try to share my knowledge with you as far as it goes. So there are a few things. So the basics are the port forwarding, the UPnP, and the log level, so that you can check how your response times actually are. And then there is a cap in the in the number of files per directory, which I will mention later. And some people just pack their hard disk up to the brim, which I will explain later as well. So let's start with the port forwarding. Port forwarding is pretty easy once it's done. It's difficult if you don't know anything about how ports and how TCP and UDP, how it works, but the mechanical or the actual process of setting up the port forwarding is not that difficult. So first, a word for the Unix users. So you open up a terminal and then you type in IP address show, and that should show you a window like that, and there you will find an ETH0, and there you should find a ENET and a number of numbers, and this is your actual email address. This is your actual IP address. Sorry, it's already very late and I had a pretty difficult day. I just promised to answer to one of the emails, so I'm just doing it. Okay, so that is what we need to do first. In Windows, it is straightforward. You go to, sorry, that was too fast. Okay, you go to Settings, then you open up Network and Internet. You scroll down until you find Hardware and Connection Properties, and there you should find something which looks like Ethernet or Wi-Fi, and there you look for the IP version 4 address, and you write that one down. We need it later when we are on the router page. So this IP version 4 address is what we need, because that identifies your computer in the router. And the other thing which we need is the address for the router itself, and that should be at the default gateway, and that is usually something like that, but with a 1 in the end. In our case, it's only different because we are having lots of routers, so each of them has to have an address, and usually you use the first or the last addresses which aren't in the range of the usual network. So default gateway, you write that down, or we can make it more easy. We just copy it. Copy the address of your default gateway. Then we open up a browser window and we mark everything which is behind the slashes. So https / is what we leave there, and then we paste in the address of our router. And that shows you we have a little bit of a more complicated router, so I just use our home network and our home router, which is a PlusNet one, and that is the home page. So you just click on here. I will not do it because I don't want to publicize our personal details. So you enter here and then you will end up on the home page. Let's close this one, and then you will end up on the home page of your router. So now you need to log into your router. The password is at the back of your router or on a little plastic card which is attached to your router, or as in my case, if you have changed it to something which is more difficult or just different, then it is probably on the back of your welcome pack which you received from your internet provider. So I will give you 30 seconds to follow and then we will go on. Yeah, it is. I will just have a cigarette while you look for your password. Yeah, you should change your password. If it's not changed yet, use the opportunity. Use a random password generated from password generator and write it down, because your router is your front door to the internet, and as you know, all the malicious stuff waits outside your door just to slip into your house. So the best thing you can do is to change your password, even if it's one of those which came with a router which isn't ABC or CDE or 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if it looks more complicated, there are lists of passwords available to every type of router. So even if it looks like a complicated one, and it's not an if, you can manage to find out what kind of router is the one, and the people are scanning internet addresses just to find out certain types of routers, and then you can just try to crack the passwords. So change the password to something which is really difficult. Best a random combination of letters, numbers, and special signs. Okay, and now the 30 seconds are over. So what you need to do when you have logged into your router, you need to go onto something which looks either like firewall, port forwarding, or yeah, that should be it. Firewall should be the one where you find it. So we just click on firewall, and in my case my session has gone, so I will not show you my password. Okay, now we are back. So what we want is we want to open the ports. So if you have something like this here, then we are a little bit handicapped, because you might not have a name for your device. And I don't know how many devices you have in your household, but it may be quite a few. So we have to have a step back and have to look at our home network. Now you look at your home network, at all the devices which are connected to your network. You might have a wireless network. I have only the cable, the Ethernet network here, because we run our wireless network on a different router, which is only for wireless and has nothing to do with the wired LAN. And there you should find the internet address, the combination of numbers. We have written down the first one, the IPv4 address. That should be connected to one of the cryptic descriptions you find for your here. That something like that, unknown, and then comes the MAC address, and then comes your number. In our case, I have already renamed all the important stuff so that we can identify it easily. But of course, I'm a lazy bugger and I have not renamed everything. So once you have identified your computer, then we return to the firewall settings. And then the first thing is, you probably need to find the application Chia, which isn't available when you have a drop-down window. So we first have to set up a new game or application. I think that will be the case in most routers, and even if you have a little bit more of a sophisticated one, you will have to set up an application. We just name our application Chia, and then you choose any protocol, and then you use the port range 8444, and to keep it open and available for things which might come, we just extend it to 8600, and that translates to 8600. If you are a more experienced user, then you can translate that to something else. If you have changed the port for Chia for the main node to something else, then you have to forward to this port here. So then you just add this application to your list of games. No, add is, in this case, add means that you have to, if you want to add another one. We are happy with this one and we apply. I already have done it, so I will not apply. But I can do it just for the sake. Yeah, that would be, oh, I see I have done a mistake here, don't do that. So that needs to be also 844. 844 to 8600. So 844 to 8600, 844 to 8600, and apply. And that gives you then the new application. So I can't do it because it's already in use. So then we go back to port forwarding. And now we can set up the actual port forwarding. So you select your Chia application from the drop-down list. I can't do it because it's obviously in use. So I already have it. And then you either, depending on the model of your router, type in the internet address of your computer, the one which we have taken from the first number, the IP4 address, IP version 4, or you choose the cryptic description you find in here, which was connected to your internet address. So in my case, it is the Dell Optiplex. And then you have instructed your router to forward all the traffic on port 444 for 8444 to 8600 forward to your machine. So that is what you do, and then you apply. Don't forget to apply. So, and as we are here, we can just kill the second bird with the same stone. You look for something in the firewall which is UPnP, and here you activate UPnP. So that allows the Chia server to connect and the clients to connect more easily to your home net. So those UPnP settings have to be on or active. In some routers it is called active. So we give it an apply, and that was it. We have forwarded the ports and we have activated the UPnP. But that was only half of what is necessary, because we also have to see if UPnP is activated in our Chia. And if you have only one Chia running, only one full node, then, and you haven't touched it, then UPnP is activated. So you don't have to worry. If you have more than one full node, then you have to deactivate UPnP in every other full node. So node 2 and above have to go through this procedure. So I've just changed. Oh yeah, okay. So we have a remote terminal connection to our second full node, because we run 2 just for the sake of having a fallback. But there you need to change UPnP to false, so that you have only one machine, the one which is closest to your heart, which is the fastest, or which is the one you really like most of all your computers, and that one is the one who is running with UPnP enabled, and all the others need to be UPnP disabled. So I will connect to my second one, and here we have to set up the YAML file for the node to UPnP false, and you find the settings for the UPnP in your system volume, wherever your operating system is installed, under users, and then your username, beautiful me, is it? Assume. So, and then Chia, mainnet, and config. And there you find a file which is named config YAML. And this one you open with a text editor. So open with is not available here. I don't know, but anyway, you just double click on it and if it is not already done, then you have to open it with notebook. So, and then we scroll down until we find our full node. Oops, there it was. That is what you're looking for. The section which starts with full node. And there is enable UPnP. And that needs to be set to false. If you have a true in there and it is not your single machine, or it is machine 2, 3, 4, n, then you need to set this to false, exactly as it is here. So full node, enable UPnP, and change it to false. Okay? So, having done that, we kill another second bird with the same stone, because we will do something else which might help you with your response times, with your chances of winning a Chia, which is we scroll back to the very top, and there you find something which is called logging. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth section in your YAML file. That is called logging. And there in the third row you find log level. And this log level has to be set to info. It will be at warning. And you have to change it to info. Just type info. You will need to go with your mouse cursor. I don't know. I actually don't know, and I'm not in the mood to try it at the moment. I'm just so probably you will need to. No, you don't. You just go there and then you type in capital letters info. Okay, now we are done here, and that means we go on file and we save. Don't forget to save, otherwise all the work was just in vain. And now we can close and we restart the machine. Yeah, unfortunately all the alterations you do in the YAML file are not taken into account until you have restarted the machine. So you actually need to restart it, and that means you have to go to your Chia, file, and exit, and then wait until I'm not doing it because I don't need to do it, and why would I want to have downtime if I don't need to? So you exit and then you wait until it's finished, and then you just restart it. It will be fully synced if you do it within less than a minute or so. So, and you have to do this procedure for every node you have except for your main node. So do not change it. Do not change the UPnP at the first node, only second and above. The log level is fine. That you should also alter on the first machine, but not on the ones higher in numbers than 1. So now we have a look at what this change in log level actually does. So now your machine should be back on track, but we can use the time So we again go, oh yeah, okay, that was a bit fast. Okay, you go on this PC and you open your system volume. You go on users, you use your user, you go on Chia. Yeah, there might be a problem here. So you might not see Chia if you're here for the first time. So you have to go on view, and then you have to check the box which states hidden items. And then you can see the Chia directory. So only if your hidden items are visible, so in your file explorer, you change to view settings, and then you check the box hidden items. So then you can see in your user directory the folder Chia. We go in there, we go to mainnet, and we go to log. I haven't looked into my log file for quite a while now, so it should be a few hours old. So I will be as surprised as you are when I look in there. So let's see what we find. Oh yeah, lots of errors, but I think that one is solved. Let's see. Yep, there's no error anymore. Good. So now you find something which is called info, which you couldn't see before the change of the log level. Because when you have the default log level, which is warning, then you cannot see the informations. So now we look for something. Let's see, there should be, I'm pretty sure I will have a block here which has been checked. Let's see if we have a validation. Zero, 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 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. We need a 1, we need a 1. We need a flipping 1. What I'm doing is I'm looking for a block which has been validated. Yep, here we are. So here we can now see what happens. We have one block which was eligible for farming. That means he underwent the proofing procedure, and it shows you he found no proofs. That took him 10 seconds, so 13 tenths of a second. We have a total of 9 plots, and the whole block validation time was nope. And let's see, there should be something which gives us an overview over the whole time. Nope, not here. Here, yep. It took 1.8 seconds to validate the block, and that is pretty good because you have 30 seconds time. So you should aim for everything which is below 5 seconds. Once you've above the 5 seconds, then things can become pretty tight. So if it is like here, it's in a tenth of seconds, or the whole validation time takes 1.18 seconds, that is wonderful. That is what you are looking for. And if you find something which is let's see, no, there's nothing. I have my response times are just perfect. Or all response times are just perfect. There's nothing which is anywhere near the 2 seconds. So here's a real good one. He's searching through my final plots directory. He loaded a total of 9 plots in less than a second. And then he checked for eligibility. 0 of my plots was found eligible. And of course he didn't find a proof, and the whole thing took less than 2 seconds. So that is what you want, and that is why we changed the log level to info. So if you find that your response time is higher than 5 seconds, then you should go on to troubleshooting, because then you might never win. So that was the port forwarding, the Upnp, and the log level for troubleshooting. And the last two things, so I went to through a lot of Reddit and whatever forums and subdirectories and subreddits and whatever. And what came to my attention was that there's obviously a problem which is known but not very well documented. That is, if you have a plot directory, then the number of plots in the directory should not exceed 185. There seems to be a critical thing with response time when it comes to directories which include more plots than 185. So if you have 180 plots, change the plot directory. So then instruct the plotter to put the final plots into a different directory. You can just make a new one, new folder, plots 1, and then when you next time you start a plot, then you instruct the plotter to go into plot 1, not the temp directory, the permanent directory you need to change. I mean, anyway, this only can happen if your hard disk is bigger than 18 terabyte. So this only applies for people who have more than 18 terabyte hard disks. Then you should have an eye how many plots you have in your plot directory. And I would advise not to take it to the limit. Stop it at 180 and then copy the exceeding blocks into the next plot file. And then, something which is also quite interesting. If you have your plots and your hard disk is all red, leave it at 10%. Don't plot until there is no byte free anymore. The hard disk might become inaccessible. So there's no chance for your software to find the plots and to have a validation for the proof if it can't even access the hard disk. So leave at least 10% of your hard disk free. It means, yes, you have lesser plots in your plot directory, but is it really worth having one plot more in it just to diminish the chances of all the other 180 or whatever your hard disk size is to be eligible for proof any at all. So that is really not what you should do. So leave at least 10%, 5%. Okay, 5% should be enough. That would be 900. Oh yeah, 900 giga on a 18 tera. Yeah, 5% should be fine. So that should be enough that if something goes haywire on your computer and there are some random bits and bytes going around, that doesn't mean that your hard disk is completely full and inaccessible to the for the operating system. So just leave a little bit of space free so that your hard disk is not unresponsive. So that would be it. I mean, there are a few other things. Check your logs on a, let's say, 5 hours, 6 hours. So every four times a day. That is good, because if you have a lot of error messages, then that might also lead to problems with your response time. And if you are a little bit more sophisticated, then you can just grab the messages from your log files and pipe them into another file so that you can just have it easier to just filter out the ones which are actually relevant. But yeah, check your log file on a daily basis. So that should be it for today. Let's have a final look on what is going on at the moment. So how many? Oh yeah, we have made 700 today. So 700 petabytes. So we are at 14.1 exabyte, which is, we are 2 exabytes below my prediction, but it is growing pretty fast again. So you can see this is our test Windows PC with 4 plots, and we have 22 years for this one to win, but that is just for the OBS, so that I have a machine where I can actually which I can actually use for the videos. And the share price today, the coin price today, let's see, well, what is it? Probably still the same as yesterday. $784, that is $20 more than it was yesterday evening, but it is still very, very, very straight, so it's neither up nor down, and it's only 32 million, which is pretty low, so the market is very subdued. I mean, given that there was another delay in the pooling, that's not really a surprise. The only surprise is that people are still not selling more Chias. We will see how the pooling stuff goes on, the pooling nightmare goes on. But yeah, at the moment everything looks pretty calm, and what the network space is growing again. That means we have a lot of people which are plotting. The fluctuations are still pretty high, so that means there's still a lot of testing going on. We have seen fluctuations in the 100 of petabyte today, so there must be some bigger pharma testing out their equipment, or there's a lot of plot movement going on. And yeah, if you watch the other videos, so there seems to be a lot of plot movement into one direction special. Okay, that was it for today. I hope it was uh, what, especially the one who sent me the very sad email. Yeah, I think it is pretty rare that you have 700 blocks and you didn't win a single Chia. That is obviously whether very bad luck, or you might find one of the things which I have mentioned in the video might help you to get to the bottom of it. Okay, have a very good evening. And yeah, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And I see you again soon. Thank you very much for listening and see you. Bye bye.